Hey, how's it going? So there's this really common thing I see with a lot of my clients and with people and with life, because this happens a lot in the world. It's this shaming, like this constant shaming of ourselves, of like not getting it faster, whatever that it is, right? It's like, oh, I thought I learned that already and I'm still doing it. I'm such a blah, blah, blah. And it's just, for me personally, when I'm in my coaching sessions, I do not let people bully themselves like this. That's the one thing. Like, if you are talking to me, and I don't care if you're my client, my friend, someone I love, anyone, I'm not going to let you do that to yourself, because that's the thing that we don't catch about ourselves, is we're conditioned to live in this constant shame spiral where we have to, announce to everyone that we suck, and I've been guilty of it myself. I'm not judging it at all. I'm just saying that I notice it now because I don't judge myself anymore like I used to. So when I notice it in my friends, my clients and others, I call it. I'm like, no, let's stop that, because there's a part of you that you're wounding, re-traumatizing, and abusing. And that part of you doesn't deserve it and never did. So what we want to do is we want to talk to that part of you that's feeling so ashamed and help it, validate it, that it's not a bad part of you. It's just a wounded part of you who was hurt a long time ago, right? And when we do that, it makes it a lot easier to go easier on ourselves, right? And so the idea is, like, if you've been in a pattern with another person in a relationship, for instance, and you break up, but then you go back to them, I'm the first to admit this, and all my clients will tell you the same thing. I always say, if you break up with somebody and you end up going back to them, you must have something else to learn, and there's nothing wrong with that. And once you realize you've learned it and that you're just beating your head against the wall continually, you may decide at some point that maybe your health, if nothing else, right? Maybe your health is more important than this toxic, poisonous relationship. Because in all truth, it is toxic and poisonous to your body to be in relationships that harm your nervous system and create disease in your body, right? So, but again, no judgment from me if you're going to continue to go back into that cycling, because we all have. It's part of living. It's part of the journey, okay? But when I have a client who says, I have to go back to this person, and I'm like, okay, then let's just continue to work through whatever you need to work through that comes up, or we'll work again later when you're ready, if you're ready later, whatever. That's not the issue. The issue is going back into it. They often will find that they're in a lot more pain because, once you've had a little break from poison and you are feeling healthier, like, okay, for instance, if you are a drug addict and you have been doing X amount of however much heroin, I don't even know the measurements, but whatever the heroin consumption is, and you're doing a high level of it, you can tolerate it, right? And then you quit. Go to rehab, quit, you're clean, and then you start it again and you do it the same level you were doing it at it before, you're likely going to OD, or you're going to get really sick or almost die. That's just how it goes, because you think you can handle it. You may even do more than you did before because you're so excited to be doing it again. Same thing with a codependent, toxic, trauma bonded relationship. You go back into it because you can't stand not being with them. Maybe they've changed, they make promises, you believe it's going to be better, you're more healed, they might be better, and it'll be great. Even if they're not better, you can handle it this time. Whatever you think, that's fine. Again, no judgment. You go back into it, and soon enough, after the little honeymoon, because there's always a honeymoon at the beginning of any abusive cycle, right? There's always a honeymoon, and then you go back in and you're like, oh, we're so in love and it's gonna be so good, and we just love doing everything together, and we're so happy, and we talk about everything and all the things. And then sure enough, shortly enough, there comes the devaluing stage, right? The stage where the person just, all of a sudden, you're a big problem again, right? And then eventually there's a discard of some kind, or like a threat to discard, like I'm gonna leave you if you don't, mop the floors 10 times every day because this is your job in my life, you're my indentured servant, whatever it is. And then you go fight, get back into the honeymoon, start again, cycle. It's a cycle of abuse. Okay, but if you want to be in that cycle, you be in it as long as you can. I'm just telling you that once you get out of it and then you go back into it, your body doesn't handle it as well. Your nervous system literally will probably start to feel sick, or just you can't do it anymore. Like you're physically, if you're paying attention, your body will start telling you, I can't do this at all anymore. I'm literally gonna probably die. Okay, and then you're gonna have to make decisions. But then once you're out of the thing again, let's say you break up, and then you're thinking about it and you're looping around. Why did I let this happen? Why did he do this? Why did she say that? Why? And by the way, why, you're never gonna get the answer unless you get an answer from the person. So why is a really hard one, because it just keeps you looping and keeps you vulnerable to being re-traumatized by the person again. Because if you're like, why did you do that? And they're like, well, because you're just such a jerk. That's why. Or why did you treat me that way? I just need to know. Well, because I was suffering from like some shame at the moment, or I had something bad happen to me, and I just took it out on you. But I'm never going to do that again. I promise. It's like, oh good, oh goody, let's be together again. Again, it's the person that's promising those things so soon has probably not changed. It's behavior change. It's not belief at a deep level change, which I'll remind anyone who's willing to listen that in when I was 23, which is almost 30 years ago, I had something happen to me that made me decide I am the problem in this relationship, and I never want a relationship like this again. So I am going to do whatever the hell I need to do to fix it so that I don't attract this to me, because I know it's from my wounding. Okay. When you're at that stage and you're realizing you're drawing in people because of your own stuff and your own wounding, you're ready to heal. But like I said, that's been 30 years. And for the last 11, I've been on a very deep, fast track in my own healing. So I'm just going to tell you, if somebody comes back to you in 6 months or 1 year and says, I am so totally changed, I am better, that's probably not true. But again, if you needed to investigate that, because everyone has their own timeline. But I'm just going to say that when I started my healing, I was kind of self-aware. I wasn't totally, I was kind of, right? If I knew it was about me, I was self-aware to some degree. And it still has taken me 30 years. Now, granted, I did raise children, kind of took a break from the whole journey for a while, but it doesn't just take a year, it doesn't just take a little time, it takes time, okay? And I'm not saying it has to take anyone 30 years. In fact, that is my goal in coaching is no. You never have to take as long as I took. It's just I was doing it by myself for the most part, so that takes longer, right? But if you have some help, it goes much faster. Anyway, so the point of this whole video, as I got off on a tangent, was to say that when you're sitting there like looping around and like trying to figure out what happened, and then you start going into, I was so stupid, I was so naive, I'm such a whatever, I'm an idiot, whatever. Just stop that. Okay, stop it. That's not true. You can be the smartest human being on the planet with 20 degrees and 50 million letters behind your name, and you can be getting caught in these relationships. It has nothing, zero, to do with your intelligence. Okay? It has to do with your patterning and your conditioning from your family. It has to do with the things you were taught about yourself, the way you believe about yourself based on when you were a tiny little kid, little tot, okay? Has nothing to do with the adult in you now. The adult in you now knows, I don't deserve to be treated badly. The little child that did not get healed does not know that. And that's what we do in the coaching, okay? That's just so you know, that's the whole point of my coaching, is we healed those parts that were hurt when you were little. That now you'll say, well, I'm just a dumb adult who makes dumb decisions and I have no excuses. Yes, you do. You have these little parts in you that stay in this space and have not been looked at. You have your brain that doesn't like change, like your primal brain, your brainstem basically, that does not like change. It likes to know what to expect at all times and is very black and white in its thinking. That does not want you to change, because if you change, you might die, and it's afraid you might die. So no, none of this has to do with your intelligence. There's no reason to belittle yourself and judge yourself if you go back and forth or you have several of these relationships. This is all your journey. This is all your learning. It's just about noticing what is happening and doing and trying to do something about it. At least notice it. That's the very beginning part of self-awareness. Is I notice I tend to do this in my relationships and it doesn't work out real well for me. That's perfect. That's one thing. Celebrate that. Don't belittle yourself about it, So, okay. I hope that helps. Please don't belittle yourself. There are good reasons why we make big or little mistakes. Great reasons. Perfectly understandable reasons once we see them, okay? And you can forgive yourself and you can accept yourself and you could just do better next time. How about that? Yeah? Okay. Thanks. Bye.